Assalamualaikum and good day everyone. Kita akan proceed lagi dengan BJN 372 Basic Economics, Introduction to Economics. Last week kita dah belajar a little bit. So this week kita proceed lagi on demand and supply in construction industry. Let's proceed. What does it mean by demand? So by definition, demand is the ability and willingness to buy specific quantity of goods in given period of time at particular price. Which means that maksudnya guys ni ability and willingness, maksudnya you mampu dan you willing, memang you rasa you nak beli specific quantities of good, 5 biji ke, 10 biji ke, 10 buah ke, how many in a given period of time. Maksudnya untuk satu jangka masa at a particular price, RM2 ke RM3 ke, depends Okay, and then law of demand, the higher the price of the product, the lower quantity demanded of the product and vice versa. When the price is higher, price naik Maksudnya law of demand says that when the price is higher, then the Q, which is the quantity demanded, akan turun. Okay, because obviously lah, logically macam tu pun ya. The demand curve show the relationship between the quantities demanded of the product and its price. Okay, if you see here, price versus quantity demanded versus. So you see that there is like a straight line here. So maksudnya bila price semakin tinggi, quantity demanded akan jadi Q1, maksudnya rendah And when the price is at P2, quantity demanded at Q2. So semakin tinggi harga sesuatu benda yang you nak beli tu, semakin rendah lah dia punya quantity demanded. Okay, the demand curve must slope downwards because of inverse relationship between the price and quantity demanded. This is according to the law of demand. Okay, but there's assumptions here. Taste and preferences of consumers remain unchanged. Okay, maksudnya if let's say consumer memang tak berubah preferences diorang. Bukan maksudnya, okay, contohnya if let's say kalau you tengok property, okay, mungkin akan jadi trending satu hari semua orang nak duduk kondo. Okay, and then mungkin 2 tahun lagi semua orang nak duduk landed houses. Okay, itu ada trend. Okay, itu maksudnya ada preferences Tapi kat sini benda ni boleh dikira price akan naik bila quantity demanded ni akan turun bila preferences orang tu tak berubah. Macam tu lah. Okay. And then we have consumers income remain the same. So tak ada yang naik turun gaji. Contohnya if let's say government servant usually setiap tahun sometimes bila dia rasa dia baik hati, dia bagilah kenaikan gaji kan yang banyak. Okay, and then bila income bertambah, so obviously this one cannot be applied anymore And then price of related goods, complement or substitute should remain unchanged. Okay, complementary goods ni contohnya, okay, maksudnya apa? Goods that are used in conjunction with the other product, meaning they complement each other. For example, let's say you have in construction, usually macam kalau you nak buat concrete, so you will need a cement and aggregate. So itu adalah produk dia, maksudnya itu adalah yang complement each other. You need both to make a concrete. Okay, or if not related in construction, contohnya you need a toothbrush with toothpaste so that you will use it together. And then substitute goods, goods that can be used in place of another product. Okay, goods that can be used in place of another product, which means that you mungkin boleh replace produk yang you pakai tu. Okay, contohnya mungkin different brand. Okay, different brand yang setara lah. Okay, contohnya Honda and Toyota, Mercedes and BMW. Depends Okay, so jadi dia adalah produk yang setara, different brand sahaja. Or perhaps contoh yang lain, for example, kalau bukan substitute antara barang, maksudnya substitute dari segi brand sahaja. Contohnya, okay, kalau let's say in construction, perhaps you can substitute whether mungkin you nak buat finishing tiles, but you can substitute it into hardwood floor, for example. Tapi dia memang dia adalah finishes, okay? Dia adalah finishes, dia adalah options yang you mungkin boleh pakai. Maksudnya dia boleh substitute juga. Okay, walaupun dia bukan benda yang sama, bukan different brand, that kind of thing. Tiles and hardwood floor, that kind of thing. Itu contoh saja. Goods should not have any prestige value. Contohnya, you ada like you really want to buy LV, like LV bag. Okay, LV bag is very expensive. Ada yang sampai 5 to 10k and perhaps more than that. Okay, or Birkin. Okay, so that's another yang very expensive stuff. So that stuff it has a prestige value and not for normal people. So these rules cannot be applied. Okay, this is example lah. Yes, I said like complementary goods is cement and aggregate. Contohnya they complement each other. Okay, and substitute goods. Contohnya kat sini different brand. Mungkin different brand of cement. You have like brand Lafarge and another one is CMS. Cahaya Mata Sarawak. Okay, so this one can be substitute each other. Okay, itu contoh. And then we have the determinants of demand. Okay, so determinants of demand, you have like internal factors and external factors. Internal factors you have 3, and for external factors that actually related to construction here, because this one kita belajar demand and supply in construction industry. For the external factors you have 8, okay, 8 of it. First, we look at the internal factors here. We have price of goods, blah blah blah. So kita akan tengok setiap satu ni lah. Okay, so for the internal factors, price of good depends on cost of production. Typo. Okay, depends on cost of production. The higher the price, the lower the demand. Bila kata kan price of goods ni, dia memang macam mana manufacturer dapat harga tu. So sebenarnya it basically datang daripada cost of production lah. Kalau memang cost dia memang mahal, jadi normally the price of goods will also increase. Maksudnya will also higher lah. Okay, when the higher the price, obviously lower lah demandnya. And then service policies and terms of payment. Okay, better customer service and terms of payment by credit instead of cash will increase sales. So normally, if you are working in construction company, normally kalau katakan you jadi QS, you ever deal with any purchasing ataupun you buat dalam purchasing, so you pun tahu dia ada kita takkan bayar terus because normally kita akan bayar bila dah hujung-hujung nanti, ataupun like progressive punya bayaran macam tu Jadi normally ini yang akan increase the demand lah, because of we have that kind of options to not to pay like, kalau katakan okay, contohnya kalau you pergi kedai that kedai only said you can pay by cash only, must pay at this very moment, cannot use any credit card, cannot pay by installment. So obviously if let's say you pergi another kedai that have a better service policy in terms of payment, obviously you akan beli dekat tempat kedai lain. But unfortunately kedai tu tak jual. Okay, contohnya I bagi contohnya lah. Contoh this is contoh ni. Apple. Okay, Switch tu. Tiba-tiba dia tak bagi you buat pinjaman or whatsoever. Tak ada all those Celcom offer, Maxis offer, Telco punya offer, tak ada. yang Android ada. So orang akan basically akan pergi beli Android lah because of better terms of payment. And then we have profit margin. A higher profit margin will lead to an increase in price of the product and reduce its demand vice versa. So normally when you are a manufacturer, you akan will mark up some of the cost of the production tu, you akan mark up because of you nakkan profit. Tapi bila higher profit margin ni, apa akan jadi? So price of good pun akan increase. So as the law of demand said, when the price is high, then the demand will reduce. Quantity demanded akan reduce. Alright, so next we have the external factors here. Price of related goods affected by change in price related to goods. Okay, we have substitute and complementary. So substitute kita tahu dia boleh substitute the other one macam tu So contohnya yang before this I bagi like hardwood floor and the other one is tiles This one for finishes Okay, when the price of tiles, okay, P of the tiles increase, okay, obviously quantity demanded for this product akan drop. So what will happen? People will find the substitute. So orang akan opt for the hardwood floor. Okay, hardwood punya floor lah ataupun laminate floor lah contohnya if we talk about construction punya materials hardwood floor punya quantity demanded akan increase. The next one is the complementary goods which they will complement each other. Contohnya pintu dan hinge pintu. Okay, contoh door and the door hinge if let's say the price of the hinge increase, okay, price of the hinge increase, what will happen? Quantity demanded akan drop Contohnya produk you bukan hinge lah, door. Okay, Q quantity demanded dia akan drop. Okay, jadi bila ni door hinge you akan jadi benda yang sama Jadi demand untuk door ni pun akan drop juga. This is how it will affect sebab dia complement each other. And then we have the consumer's income. When income increase, demand will increase. Jadi bila consumer income maksudnya gaji saya bertambah kan, income kita bertambah, okay, kita pun dapat bantuan Satu Malaysia dan demand tu akan increase. Goods increase in demand when income increase. Contohnya adalah normal goods, and goods decrease in demand when income increase adalah inferior goods. So you nampak Okay, jadi normal goods dia punya demand akan tinggi. Okay, kenapa? Sebab dia adalah normal goods. So kalau katakan bila you contohnya Malaysian citizen dapat bonus bantuan Satu Malaysia, semua orang dapat extra 5k contohnya semua orang dapat like extra 5k government bagi. So bila you ada this duit untuk membeli, okay, jadi normal goods demand dia obviously akan tinggi. Okay, but inferior goods, so inferior goods ni apa? Inferior goods tu adalah goods yang low grade punya item lah, punya materials. If let's say normal goods, okay, mungkin you beli tile brand White Horse. Okay, that is a normal goods. Okay, tiling brand White Horse. However, like inferior goods mungkin dia adalah low grade white horse. Mungkin dia adalah yang tiruan, produk tiruan punya daripada daripada China or something like that. Jadi itu adalah inferior goods. So when income increase, obviously inferior goods orang pun tak prefer, then the quantity demanded will drop lah. And then taste and fashion. When a product become more fashionable, demand will increase significantly. So for example, ada satu masa sebelum ni, before COVID, like Soho, you know Soho, yang ada mall dekat bawah tu, like the Viva City one. Okay, so that type of property sangat-sangat popular, especially in KL area. So that's why bawah ada shopping complex and atas ada residential punya building, ataupun yang dia nak buat macam dekat Summer Mall tapi tak jadi tu, macam tu lah. Jadi Soho. So this kind of property, okay, masa dia fashion, masa dia masih lagi in trend, okay, tengah trending masa tu, jadi banyak yang developer yang buat projek macam ni because of the demand dia sangat tinggi. Jadi when the product become fashionable, demand dia pun akan tinggi lah. And then here we have the external factors lagi, population of numbers of buyer. So larger population with high rate of growth creates a greater demand. Okay, in Malaysia sekarang we have around 30 plus million of Malaysian citizen, maksudnya our population here. So bila population tu makin membesar, makin bertambah, jadi akan lebih banyak quantity demanded. Contohnya quantity demanded for housing, for residential. Jadi dia akan bertambah as the population grow. And then we have the expectation about future price. Okay, the higher the expected future price, the higher current demand for the product. Because ini price ni future nanti. Okay, in future dia akan increase. Okay, but quantity demanded ini current akan tinggi. Okay, current yang sekarang. So if let's say sekarang, if let's say you ada duit, better you buy property sekarang, because as you see here, harga hartanah kediaman jangka naik selepas COVID-19. Kata tinjauan. Because if you baca like some of the newspapers, and not in newspaper, news portal site, you can actually read some about the property, especially in Johor, because of most of the buyer come from Singapore. But when COVID happened, the property price reduced significantly compared to other states. And the second is I think around Selangor and Penang also. So semua bandar besar-besar, but numbers that reduce is quite significant compared to before COVID. Okay, so kalau you nak beli rumah, parents you nak beli rumah, buy it right now before price increase later on. And then we have the advertisement. So ini contoh saja. I siap ambil I don't know, this is like from internet. Advertisement. Advertised goods normally have a high demand because of the awareness. Okay, if let's say they put like all the advertisement, brands and everything. Okay, macam mana kita tahu produk tu brand apa and such. So itu yang paling let the public know lah about the brand and about, contohnya macam kat sini adalah Aria Luxury Residence Kuala Lumpur. So this one is being advertised. Therefore public akan lebih tahu, those yang mampu boleh beli. And then level of taxation, higher the taxes, the lower the purchasing power of consumers. So if let's say the government impose higher tax, contohnya cukai pintu lah, especially kalau you beli rumah dan you when you own a property, then you need to pay for the tax. We call it like cukai pintu. And if it's increased, perhaps people will maybe prefer to rent instead of purchase a property. or maybe if let's say import duty is expensive, contohnya because most of construction materials come from China. So if let's say construction material come from China, that day memang our construction pun sakit juga because most of the project in delay, walaupun memang cakap memanglah labor tu tak cukup, but at the same time material supply also tak cukup. Okay, because of kat sana everywhere shortage, so cannot proceed with the project. So if let's say the tax is higher, maksudnya government impose maybe import tax, higher import tax, then all the developer will be having problems lah, or contractors lah, to buy supply for construction and material construction supply. So you will see that the reduction of purchasing power lah, maksudnya nak membeli tu akan because of harga barang, because bila tax naik, so harga dia obviously akan bertambah, cost you membeli tu akan bertambah. Okay, jadi obviously quantity demanded pun akan reduce lah. Ataupun lebih senang, beli je lah barangan buatan Malaysia. Carilah barangan buatan Malaysia. Okay, change in quantity demanded versus change in demand. Okay, first we're going to look at the change in quantity demanded. Okay, movement along the demand curve. So you pernah nampak demand curve before this? It is in law of demand. Occur when the price of product changes. Because sebelum ni kita ada tengok on the determinants of demand. It's like number one internal factors, which is price of goods. So when the price of goods or price of the product changes, the demand curve will be like this and other factors constant, maksudnya all the other determinants of demand, faktor-faktor yang lain constant, tak ada perubahan Upward movement, decrease in quantity demanded. Okay, upward movement, decrease in quantity demanded, maksudnya macam ni lah. Kita panggil dia as contraction because of quantity demanded semakin berkurang. And downward movement, maksudnya dia turun ke bawah like this, increase in quantity demanded, then we call it as expansion. Hopefully you understand on this because kita nak tengok apa beza dia. And the other one is change in demand. Okay, so this one is shift in demand curve. Okay, yang ini kita panggil dia demand curve yang garisan macam ni. Occur when there are changes in other factors such as population, income, price of related goods dan lain-lain etc. Yang lain-lain determinants of demand selain daripada price of goods ataupun price of the product, itu adalah determinants factors yang lain lah. Demand curve shift to right if price of substitute goods increase. So contohnya kalau macam tadi yang saya bagi, so we have tiles and another one is hardwood flooring Alright, contohnya, so you punya produk sekarang ada tiles, so this one merujuk kepada tiles lah punya demand curve If let's say price of substitute goods increase, okay, demand ni akan shift to right untuk tiles because of quantity demanded for tiles akan increase. Because of this one, hardwood floor, tadi kita belajar law of demand it says that when the price of hardwood floor increase, quantity demanded for this hardwood floor akan drop. Therefore, you punya product which is tiles, quantity demanded dia akan increase. Okay, tapi if you see the price will remain constant, price for tiles and then price for complementary goods, akan decrease. So contohnya yang complement each other tadi, contohnya door and door hinge. So this is our product and door hinge adalah dia punya complementary goods. So for example, price of complementary goods decrease or door hinge punya price decrease. Bila door hinge punya price decrease, quantity demanded dia akan increase for this door hinge, and it will also increase the price the quantity demanded for the door, sebab dia complement each other. Maksudnya dia, you need it together. So whatever happen to dia punya complement, yang boleh complement dia, yang another one akan kena yang sama lah. Maksudnya kalau quantity demanded for the other one akan increase, the other one pun akan increase juga. So dia terbalik dengan substitute goods. And then we have income increase. Okay, so ini semua demand curve shift to right. Maksudnya ini maksudnya quantity demand dia akan naik, tapi price dia remain constant. Contohnya income increase. So quantity demand dia akan naik provided it is only for normal goods. Ini akan jadi pada normal goods sahaja. Okay, macam yang tadi saya explain, maksudnya normal goods tu mungkin yang standard lah. For example, I bagi tadi contoh like white horse tiles. So it is a standard tiles. And then we have the expected future price. Expected future price increases. Okay, kenapa expected future price increases? Because in the future maksudnya P future increase. Jadi sekarang Q current, maksudnya quantity demanded currently akan increase. Okay, sekarang because of kita rasa macam okay, 2022 it is forecasted that the price for the property will increase significantly. Therefore, most of the citizen akan yang mampu akan membeli property sekarang. Okay, itu contoh And then number of buyers increase. So number of buyers ni normally like population increase lah. So bila number of buyers increase, obviously quantity demanded pun akan increase without increasing the price. Price takkan berubah. And then demand curve shift to left if, so apa yang saya explain tadi dia jadi terbalik. Okay, sebab dia bila shift to left tu maksudnya quantity demanded dia akan drop lah. Okay, so saya takkan explain on this part because this one dia terbalik daripada whatever that I explained before. And then we look at supply. Okay, tadi kita dah tengok on demand. Supply is defined as ability and willingness to sell or produce a particular product and service in a given period of time at particular price. Basically, the definition is almost the same dengan demand. Demand dekat sini tadi willingness to buy, but here is sell and produce a particular product and service. Kat sini ada service lah, in a given period of time at particular price. And the law of supply, the higher the price of the product, the greater is the quantity supply. When the price is high, quantity supply akan naik. Why? Because of course supplier ni dia akan, tak nampak you supplier ni dia akan take advantage of price yang tinggi tu so that dia boleh dapat lebih income kan bila dia jual lebih banyak jadi dia akan take advantage of that. Positive relationship exists between the price and quantity supplied. A supply curve shows the relationship between the quantity supply of the product and its price, provided everything else is constant. Okay, so you nampak kat sini, this is because P ni dia akan proportional to the quantity supply. So P naik, quantity supply pun akan naik. However, there is assumption cost of production remain constant. Okay, kalau cost of production increase, so supplier ni pun dia tak dapat buat banyak profit, then perhaps quantity supply pun takkan naik jugalah. And then number of sellers remain the same. If let's say sellers ataupun manufacturers contohnya semakin bertambah. Okay, so benda ni not apply lah. Okay. And then price of related goods, which is complementary and substitute goods, do not change. So tak ada perubahan daripada price of related goods. And also availability of other inputs remain unchanged. Maksudnya determinants of supply, because later on kita akan tengok again on determinant of supply. Not again kita akan tengok pula on determinant of supply. Okay, here we have determinants of supply. Dia tak ada external and internal dia just ada macam ni saja, which is you have 7 here. We can look one by one. So first is price of related goods, which is affected by a change in price of related goods. You have a substitute and complementary goods. For the substitute goods, when the supply of products will decrease if there is an increase in the price of substitute product. Okay, here you have like substitute goods. So if let's say the price of substitute goods increase, so ini substitute goods there, substitute good increase, jadi quantity supply, so this is your product akan decrease. Okay, why this happen? So let's say if substitute goods, macam contoh saya sebelum ni, okay, substitute goods you have like hardwood floor and tiling. Contohnya if let's say hardwood tu adalah substitute dia, when the price of hardwood, okay, hardwood ni adalah substitute, okay, price dia naik. Okay, jadi quantity supply untuk this hardwood pun akan increase. So bila quantity supply for this hardwood increase, obviously for the product yang sekarang ni, which is you punya tiles dia punya quantity supply akan turun. Okay, dia takkan nak increase juga. Manufacturer ni dia akan macam nak take advantage because of when the price of substitute goods lebih tinggi, jadi dia akan nak take advantage of manufacture more of the substitute goods of the hardwood and then obviously tiles ni, since harga dia pun ialah bila substitute goods lebih tinggi price dia, so supplier akan lebih nak produce something yang lebih tinggi harganya compared to the one yang harga lebih rendah so that's why dia akan increase the quantity for hardwood ni compared to the tiles. And for complementary goods, an increase in the price of the product will increase the supply of complementary goods. Door and door hinge, I suka betul lah. I malas fikir yang lain, so I'm going to use the same contoh So the complementary goods is the door hinge. Contohnya, if the price of door hinge akan naik, obviously quantity supply for door hinge pun akan naik, and obviously since it complement each other, supply for door pun akan naik, because bila you ada door hinge, you perlukan door. Jadi dia akan naik bersama-sama And then we have the cost of production. When the cost of production increase, the quantity supply will decrease and vice versa. Why? Because of bila cost of production ni naik, obviously the supplier ataupun the manufacturer cannot gain much profit, ataupun seller maksudnya orang-orang yang kat kedai tu cannot gain much profit daripada sell the product. Therefore dia akan reduce the supply. And then we have the expected future price. The higher the expected future price of the product, the smaller current supply of the product, and vice versa. Why? Because it is expected later on harga dia akan naik because of price increase future. Okay, obviously masa ni quantity supply dia pun dia akan naikkan masa ni. So current current akan drop lah. Okay, sebab dia nak untung masa akan datang. Jadi current ni because of later on lebih untung, simpan dulu, later on masa ekonomi booming, masa tu dia akan increase the supply. Technology advancement, new technologies that enable the producer to use fewer factors of production will lower the cost of production and increase supply. Okay, bila ada technology advancement, contohnya macam IBS or something like that. Okay, kalau ada teknologi yang lebih advance akan enable producer untuk lebih jimat lah. Okay, use few factor production. We know that factor production yang sebelum ni saya ada sebut yang land, entrepreneur, capital and apa lagi satu? I lupa. Okay, yang tu So factor of production tu, if let's say dia kurang pakai those factors of production, maksudnya cost dia akan lebih rendah Jadi bila cost tu rendah, obviously price dia dapat untung lebih lah. Okay, dia dapat untung lebih, jadi dia akan increase dia punya supply. And because of macam if let's say technology advancement ni, maksudnya kita boleh produce more within shorter period of time, contohnya. Sebab kalau kita tengok macam IBS contohnya, the construction for IBS building is much faster compared to conventional building. And then we have number of seller. The larger the number of firms supplying a product, the larger quantity supplied of the product and vice versa. Okay, so kalau you tengok lebih banyak seller, lebih banyak penjual. Contohnya you tengok orang banyak jual cream bites. So bila banyak jual cream bites, so quantity supply dia pun akan bertambah. Okay, ataupun kalau kita kaitkan dengan construction, if you see maybe dekat Samarahan ni, kedai-kedai hardware makin besar, Min Leong besar. Okay, jadi quantity supply tu pun akan increase And then we have the government policies, which is taxes and subsidies. Okay, if let's say taxes ni increase, okay, what happen to quantity supply? Akan drop. QSS pula, QS akan drop. Because why? Because of when tax is higher than the cost tu, because tax tu kita consider as a cost jadi quantity supply ni pun maksudnya producer takkan dapat lebih banyak untung, tak profit sangat, jadi dia akan rendahkan supply And then subsidies. So when the subsidies is higher, okay, quantity supply akan naik jugalah. Okay, kenapa? Because subsidi ni dia macam government punya bantuan, incentive from the government to encourage producer or seller to produce more. So subsidi ni dia bantuan government lah. So bila ada bantuan government ni, cost of production tu akan reduce. Jadi untung lebih to the producer. Okay, jadi quantity supply pun akan increase. And then we have, if I'm not mistaken, this is the last one, improvement in infrastructure. Improvement of transportation and communication will facilitate free and fast movement of goods and services. So jadi cepat sampailah goods and services pada tempat yang dituju. Jadi lebih cepat, so quantity supply lebih efficient, quantity supply akan increase. Alright, so right now we are looking into the change in quantity supply versus change in supply. Yang kat sini kita tengok, tadi kita tengok on demand. Movement along supply curve occurs when the price of product changes. Bila price of product, sebab dia ikut that law of supply. If let's say price of product increase, so inilah akan jadi, maksudnya quantity supply pun akan increase. Other factor remain constant. Upward movement, price of product rises, the quantity supply increase. So this one lah. And downward movement, when the price of the product falls and quantity supply pun akan decrease. Kita tengok change in supply. Okay. Shift in supply curve. So you nampak ada S1, S2 and S3. Occur when there are changes in other factors such as technology advancement, government policy, price of related goods and lain-lain. Kecuali price of the product. Price of product remain the same. Kan tadi ada determinants of supply kan. If let's say ada perubahan-perubahan on the other certain part of the determinants of supply tu, okay, jadi dia akan effect change in supply. Contohnya macam tadi kita cerita pasal tiles and hardwood. Okay. So hardwood floor ni kita maintain as the substitute sebab senang lagi you faham, kita pakai benda yang sama je. If let's say the price of substitute goods decrease, so price of hardwood floor decrease, obviously quantity supply for the hardwood floor akan decrease. This will increase the quantity supply for tile sebab dah tak ada option lain, hardwood floor dah kurang, jadi akan all the supplier atau manufacturer akan cari ataupun seller akan cari option lain, so dia akan go for tiles. Quantity supply akan increase for tiles, so that's why dia shift to right. So semua maksudnya price maintain constant, however quantity supply tu akan increase. And then price for complementary goods increase. Contohnya tadi we have door and door hinge. Okay. So they complement each other. So when the price of complementary goods increase, quantity supply for door hinge also increase. This will increase the quantity supply for door sebab dia sama-sama diperlukan. And then price of input decreases. Okay, when price of input increases, maksudnya input ni maksudnya benda-benda yang digunakan untuk menghasilkan whatever the product yang you are making. Maksudnya cost of production tu akan rendah lah. Okay, jadi when the price of input decrease, cost of production tu maksudnya rendah. Jadi quantity supply pun akan increase. Okay, inilah dia. And then increase in number of sellers. So bila number of seller makin bertambah, banyak kedai-kedai hardware dibuka di Samarahan, jadi akan increase lah quantity supply. And then government provide subsidy to seller. So when the government provides subsidy to seller, it will help the producers or the sellers. Then it will increase the supply. And dia terbalik lah dengan supply curve to the left, maksudnya pergi S1. Yang ni daripada S1 pergi ke S2. Okay, ini daripada S1 pergi ke S3. Dia terbalik, maksudnya apa yang saya explain tadi go opposite. And then we have market equilibrium. Okay, by definition, a market equilibrium is a situation when quantity demanded and quantity supply are equal and there is no tendency for price or quantity to change. Equilibrium maksudnya balance. Jadi ini yang kita nak because bila market equilibrium ni, ini adalah the perfect scenario. So you nampak this is demand curve and supply curve. where it meets itu adalah, this is where it's the equilibrium happen kat mana dia cross each other. Because you pun tahu when the price is high, quantity demand akan drop. But when the price is higher for supply, quantity supply akan increase. Okay, jadi kat sinilah dia jumpa. Kalau you tengok kat sini dia ada equilibrium, quantity demanded adalah sama dengan quantity supply, which is this is what we call market price, the equilibrium. However, if let's say shortage happen, okay, the difference between the quantity demand and quantity supply market, where the quantity demand is greater than quantity supply, so QD is bigger than QS, which means the market price will rise because of higher demand tapi barang tak cukup. Okay, jadi harga barang akan naik. And then surplus, berlebihan the difference between the quantity demand and quantity supply in the market, where the quantity supply is greater than the quantity demanded. Therefore, you nampak QD is less than QS. Quantity demanded is less than QS. The quantity supply dah barang banyak tapi nobody beli. Tak ada orang beli. This will cause the price on the market will reduce. And then the market equilibrium will change when there is a shift in the demand or supply curve. Okay, the demand and supply curve, the demand curve shift and supply remain constant. Okay, the supply curve shift and demand remain constant, or both of supply curve and demand curve shift simultaneously. Okay, maksudnya dia berubah-ubah lah, simultaneously berubah, bersama-sama berubah. Kat sini, because of kita sebenarnya kita tak nak lah, because bila ada rise, ada fall of the price of the product on the market, so we don't want that to happen. Okay, normally whatever the government do is dia buat sekarang, even sekarang ni pun dia ada buat intervention in the market. There is a floor price and also ceiling price. Floor price is price are not allowed to fall, Okay, maksudnya floor kan paling bawah Maksudnya bila floor price ni, price tu kita takkan bagi dia turun lagi daripada floor price tu. Floor price tu dah paling rendah kan, dah tak boleh turun lagi. Also known as a minimum price. This happen when surplus occur sebab terlampau banyak kan, so surplus tu occur, surplus tu terjadi, jadi government terpaksa buat intervention sikit lah in the market, tak bagi harga dia turun lebih rendah walaupun barang tu banyak in the market. Contohnya labor rate. Kat Malaysia ni mostly kita tak kekurangan pekerja sebenarnya, kita kekurangan pekerja kasar. Okay, general labor tu mostly ialah in construction. If you see, orang semua tak nak jadi general labor. Orang semua tak nak kerja on site. Orang semua tak nak panas. Okay, however, kalau nak jadi site supervisor, berapa orang je yang diperlukan kalau dekat satu site? 1, 2 orang, 3 orang maksimum. Takkan lebih. Okay, jadi dah terlebih-lebih. Jadi labor tu dah terlampau banyak. So macam dekat Malaysia sekarang ni, dah ada the lowest labor rate adalah 1,200 minimum wage. Okay, jadi tak boleh rendah daripada 1,200. We have this fertilizer also. Fertilizer tu baja lah. Okay, jadi baja pun banyak dikeluarkan, terlebih-lebih dalam market, so it cannot be allowed to drop. And then what is the advantages for this? It protect the producer's income and higher wage rate, because we don't want if later there's no intervention, those producers yang produce the fertilizers, dia tak ada keuntungan langsung because of dia jual, maksudnya dia produce, but because of too many of the product in the market, so harga barang tu jatuh, jadi dia pun rasa macam what's the point I'm doing this, so better I cari job lain. And then dia cari job lain, then who going to produce the fertilizer? Tak ada orang nak produce fertilizer. Okay, it's always like that. There's always a, that's why kita nak try to keep it balanced. And then the disadvantages, consumer pay more. Okay, disadvantages still we have to pay more for the product, although the product price should be, the market price should be lower than the floor price, but because of this is the intervention in the market made by the government, therefore us as a user, as a consumer, we have to pay more. Kalau contohnya macam labor rate tu, should be kita boleh bayar lebih rendah, tapi because of there is a minimum rate for labour, minimum rate for untuk orang untuk bekerja, jadi employer have to pay more. And the waste of resources of production. Okay, waste lah. Waste of resources of production. And then creates unemployment. Okay, creates unemployment. And for the ceiling price, it is also known as the maximum price. Maksudnya kalau you tengok ceiling tinggi, so dia tak boleh go beyond the ceiling price. Price is not allowed to rise, and then shortage occur. Okay, disebabkan shortage, kekurangan, jadi government impose this ceiling price. For example, it is house rental. Okay, house rental actually I cannot remember lah, tapi it's not here lah. I think it is in New York, like that. New York ah, yeah. There's a maximum house rental kat sana, because if not the price will be absurd. Okay, jadi there's a something like this impose but in Malaysia contohnya you have something like wheat flour, okay, flour, chicken, sugar, oil. Okay, ini semua ada ceiling price. Cooking oil and then cement also got ceiling price. Petrol, diesel, condensed milk, banyak lagi macam-macam. Sugar, cooking oil. Kalau construction, cement pun ada maximum price. And then the advantage dia is consumer purchases products at a lower price when ceiling price is set below market rate. So that is the advantage. However, there is a disadvantage and emergence of black market. Okay, since the price cannot go higher because of the shortage happen especially kalau in festive season, contohnya akan datang nak raya, nak gawai lagi, masa tu you akan tengok harga barang akan naik, like cooking oil, sugar, chicken, this is a normal. And bila harga barang tu naik, sometimes shortage happen. Bila shortage happen, then akan ada someone yang take advantage of that, and dia akan simpan that product, simpan that item yang dia nak jual, and then dia akan buka black market lah. Dia akan jual secara haram Dia haram, dia akan charge higher, okay, daripada harga ceiling price tu. Because of the shortage, orang pun terpaksa dia orang akan beli And then reduces quantity produce. Okay, so since ceiling price ni, yelah dia ada maximum kan, so supplier dia akan rasa macam why I want to produce this thing, because of harga dia takkan naik. Harga dia memang at that level only. Jadi supplier pun akan reduce quantity yang dia nak jual, ataupun manufacturer akan reduce the quantity yang dia nak produce. Okay, because of harga dia takkan dapat profit lebih pun. Okay, and then producers tend to receive illegal payment from consumer. Okay, disebabkan black market tadi Okay, and then we have taxes and subsidies. When the government impose tax on the sale of goods, the price of good might rise by the same amount of the tax imposed. The increase in the price of goods, whether in full or part of none, all depends on the burden tax falls on the buyer or seller. So indirect tax is the tax that imposed by the government on producers or seller but paid or by or passed on the end users. So contohnya apa, sales and service tax lah, SST yang kita bayar tu sebenarnya dia being passed to the end user. Indirect tax consists of import duties, excise duty, service duty, export duties, dan juga sales and service tax tu. Itu adalah indirect tax. Okay, tapi direct tax ni adalah direct to the whoever yang, contohnya kalau manufacturer, dia kena bayar tax pada government macam mana daripada dia punya income tax. Okay, not only producer, kita as a government servant pun kena, whoever that are the citizen of Malaysia yang bukan nak kata, sebab dia ada minimum level kan. Kalau you bayar tax, kalau gaji you tak berapa tinggi, like 2,000, saya rasa you tak payah bayar tax lagi lah. Or if you dah dapat gaji lebih, okay, so you kena bayar tax Itu adalah direct tax, maksudnya kita bayar direct pada government. Okay, bukan saja manufacturer ataupun seller. Us as a consumer also have to pay direct tax daripada income tax kita, daripada yang kita kerja tu. Okay, a subsidy pula adalah is an incentive from government to encourage producer or sellers to produce more. Subsidy will lower the cost of production. Okay, subsidy by Malaysian government contohnya adalah fertilizer, petrol, diesel, and also paddy. You tahu paddy? Padi lah. Bukan beras ya. Beras tu dia dah jadi, dia dah proses. But paddy ni, those farmer, petani-petani kat luar sana tu, kesian diorang. Okay, jadi dia ada subsidies to them lah, to help them to produce paddy. Okay. Okay, that would be all on this chapter. So we are done with chapter 2. So insyaAllah by like tomorrow, Khamis, I akan bagi lagi soalan tutorial for you to do, because I believe that this tutorial question will actually help you untuk lebih faham. Sebab bila you kena buat soalan, you akan membaca. If I leave it like that, you mungkin takkan buat latihan langsung, and you probably will forget everything, and by the time test, you akan tak dapat jawab sebab you tak baca ataupun you baru nak baca last minute. Okay, okay, thank you everyone and have a nice day. Bye.